Hello and welcome. We're about to dive into a question that, honestly, every single one of us asks at some point. Using the wisdom from Vande Ved Mataram, we're going to get to the very heart of this huge but simple idea. What am I?
So, to kick things off, let's just think about knowledge itself. With everything in the world you could possibly learn, what do you think is the single most important piece of knowledge anyone could ever have?
Just take a second with that. Think about it. All the sciences, all the arts, history, economics, this is just endless ocean of subjects. Out of all of that, what knowledge sits at the very, very top of the pyramid?
Well, according to our source, the answer is self-knowledge. The idea here is that if you don't truly know yourself, life can feel pretty chaotic and uncertain, right? It's like you're just bouncing from one thing to the next. This knowledge is the foundation that everything else has to be built on.
Okay, so how do most of us try to answer this question? Well, there's a really common way we go about it that, it turns out, can actually send us down completely the wrong path. Let's take a look at how we usually define ourselves.
No, seriously. Imagine someone walks up to you right now and asks, "Who are you?" What is the very first thing that pops into your head? Is it your name, your job, maybe your family?
For most of us, it's one of these external labels. We say things like, "Oh, I'm an engineer," or "I'm part of this family," or "I have this job title." But have you ever noticed what all of these answers have in common? They all describe our relationship to the outside world, and every single one is tied directly to our physical body.
And right there, that is the core of the big misconception. We get so wrapped up in the body's identity that we start to believe we are the body. And according to the source, this one mistake is the real root cause of so much of our anxiety, our worries, and our dissatisfaction in life.
So it all boils down to this one simple but massive distinction. It's the difference between thinking, "I am the car," versus "I am the driver of the car." The body isn't who you are, it's this incredible vehicle, this amazing instrument that you get to use to navigate the world.
Okay, but how can we be so sure about this? How do you actually prove that you are separate from your body? Well, the source offers a really simple and honestly powerful thought experiment to make this distinction crystal clear.
Think about it like this. When a person dies, their physical body is still there, right? For a moment, it looks exactly the same. Nothing has been physically taken away. And yet, it can't move, it can't think, it can't act. And pretty quickly, it starts to, decay. This shows that the person, that life force, had to be something separate that has now left that physical shell. And this separate entity, this life force that makes the body work, is what our source calls the atma, or what we would call the soul. This is the real I that was living inside the body the whole time. All right, so if we are not the body, then what in the world are we? Now that we've stripped away that huge misconception, let's explore the true nature of who and what you really are.
And here it is, we've arrived at the real answer. When someone asks, "What am I?" the enlightened response isn't about your job or your family. It's simply, "I am the soul." And that's not just a new label. It's a totally different way of seeing everything.
Now, to really wrap your head around what this means, just listen to this powerful verse from the source. It's pointing to a self that exists way beyond the physical and mental limits we just accept as our reality. It's a self that is permanent and unchanging.
So let's just break that down. Your true self, the soul, is eternal. It was never born, so it can never die. It exists beyond physical needs like being hungry or thirsty. It's totally separate from the mind's drama, from sorrow and confusion. And this is a huge point from the source. It is a center of unimaginable power and potential.
Now, this is all pretty mind-bending, but you might be thinking, okay, so what? Why does any of this matter in my day-to-day life? Well, this is exactly where this whole idea becomes incredibly practical.
The source is really clear about this. It calls atma gyan, this deep self-knowledge we've been talking about, the one and only highway to genuine, lasting peace and happiness. Sure, other things might give you a temporary boost, but this understanding is presented as the real deal, the ultimate solution.
And here's why it works. When you truly know that you are the eternal soul, you stop getting so caught up in the temporary problems of the body and the mind. You get a whole new perspective. You can see the world with this incredible clarity. And finally, use your body and mind for what they are, amazing tools. You get to be the master instead of being their slave.
And that brings us to one last question just for you to think about. When you look at your daily actions, your worries, your goals, who are they really for? Are you living in service of the temporary body, or are you nurturing your eternal true self, the soul? Definitely something to think about.